When you think of battling spin tops, the first thing that comes to your mind is most likely Beyblade. And why shouldn't it? It's been around for 25 years, has had 4 distinct generations, and the trademarked Beyblade name has become so synonymous with spin tops that almost any competitor is immediately labeled as a Beyblade ripoff. Some of these ripoffs you may remember, like Infinity NATO or Top Plate. But do you remember Battle Strikers?
Power up with the turbo launcher and throw down. Take total control of the battle. Customize for ultimate performance. Battle Strikers, you control the battle. Toys sold separately, batteries not included.
This video is all about an ill-fated Beyblade competitor, but if you guys want to get some of the latest Beyblades, go and check out sponsor of the channel, Mall of Toys. Mall of Toys has all of the latest Beyblade releases, and they're also doing pre-orders for the upcoming Silver Wolf and Double Extreme Stadium set. So go and check them out, link in the description down below, and make sure to use code ilinnuc to get 5% off. Battle Strikers initially launched in early 2009 by Mega Bloks, and immediately made itself unique from Beyblade in 3 distinct ways. The first was the motorized turbo launcher. The Strikers could connect to the launcher magnetically, and there was no need to let it rip. Instead, you would let it motor, or whatever sounds cool. The second was the magnetic controller. This easily misplaceable finger grip was built with an internal magnet that could guide your striker around, giving you a sense of control that Beyblade could never compete with. Unless you count the RC Beyblades, but we'll forget those for this video. And the third and final distinguishing factor was the social media presence. Nowadays, pretty much every game, toy, sport, you name it, has an entire online community behind it. Think of the Beyblade community, for example, with independent creators having thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of subscribers. But Battle Strikers came at a different time. The social media landscape in 2009 was all about Fred, Smosh,
if you think your red hot chili pecker could do more everyday tasks than my pink frosted sprinkle donut,
Facebook, and MySpace. And then there was Battle Strikers, a little fledgling brand that posted well-edited tournament hype videos, TV commercials, rule guides, and even a short-lived series called Striker Station that isn't too dissimilar to Beyblade YouTube videos you'd see today. And as if the link between Beyblade and Battle Strikers wasn't strong enough, Battle Brad from the Striker Station video is the Bay Brad from the Beyblade community. If you don't know who that is, they're the founder of a little website called, I don't know, the World Beyblade Organization. I was even able to reach out to Bay Brad directly to ask them some questions about the series. And from what they told me, it's sad to see that Battle Strikers had a bit of a lukewarm reception, which eventually would doom the series. The WBO was originally created in 2007 and looked something like this at the start. Holy shit, what a throwback. In January of 2010, Bay Brad posted about their involvement with Battle Strikers. This involvement wasn't just social media, but the development of a massive portion of the Metal XS lineup, from names and concepts to even part of the design work. It's kind of sad that I don't have any of the Metal XS tops to show off and play around with, as they may actually be the most memorable ones in the entire lineup. It makes me proud of what the Beyblade community has accomplished over the years. What doesn't make me proud is how horrible some of the responses were on the WBO. A Mega Bloks employee made a post on the WBO in early 2009, a few months before the Western launch, and some of the replies are pretty horrible. I would hope that behavior like this wouldn't exist in the modern spin top scene. In total, there were 3 distinct lines of Battle Strikers. All of the ones in this video are from Series 1. Series 2 changed up the designs quite significantly with a revision to the magnet array, as well as adding the Power Core Attack Ring, whatever that is. After Series 2, we got Metal XS. This lineup featured a significant amount of metal in the weapon ring and redesigned launchers and controllers. There was a side series of Metal XS as well, called Mecha FX, which added some gimmicks. All of these strikers were released before the Metal Saga of Beyblade even launched here in the US. And I can directly thank Battle Strikers for developing my love of battling spin tops and even providing me an arena before I could convince my mom to buy me an official Beyblade branded one. So now that we've done all of this talking, let's open up some 15-year-old Battle Strikers. Hello. So here is the box that I got from eBay, having the probably coolest Beyblade ripoff literally of all time. I just realized there's a bug like in the tape. Ew, what is that? Let's just cut straight into the box, okay? I just cut through the bug. I just cut through the bug. Oh my god. Boom. Dear Lord. Okay, where'd the bug go? Where'd the bug go? Here you go. So this is called Battle Strikers. It was released by Mega Bloks, or now Mega Constructs or whatever. And this came out in 2009, right before Beyblade came out in the West. So let's dive in. I will say this box has probably been in a garage or something. So let's look at okay. So first things first, this is the instructions. I mean, it just kind of tells you how to play and how it works. Kind of like standard Beyblade instructions. And you have these little like cartoon looking guys just right there. It's interesting little drawing. Pretty straightforward. This was super cool though. I'm pretty sure I had this on my wall whenever I was a kid. And you have just all the different Battle Strikers available. Also kind of like Beyblade posters from back in the day. Funny story, I was actually trying to find Battle Strikers on eBay, which is easier said than done, to be honest. And I found a listing, you know, it is used, and I think one of the controllers might not work, but it came with some Beyblades. And these are not in the best condition literally at all. They look super battle worn. So here was all the Beyblade stuff. We have what looks to be a rock Sagittario, maybe, with like a wolf face bolt. And oh my, look at this tip. What did they do to it? How is it even possible? Did a dog chew on it? They must have melted it. This has to be melted, because this would be like, how do you even do this to a tip? Here we have the Battle Strikers, and as you can see, they are pretty thick, not super heavy, but it's basically all plastic. I don't feel any metal in here, literally at all. The one that came in this set, this one is called Mauler. And then we have the other one, which is called Turbine, with this like metal ball tip. I don't remember which ones I had as a kid. I remember battling in the stadium, and kind of funny story, before I was able to get an actual Beyblade stadium, I used a Battle Striker stadium. And the stadium is super flat, which we're gonna see here in a second. Not the best experience for attack types, and some of those early battle videos are kind of funny because the Bey battles were horrible in this stadium. But like I said, we have Turbine, we have Mauler, then we have 3 other Battle Strikers tops. This one is called Eagle something, I believe. Actually, I have a little paper right here. So this one is actually called Eagle Strike. It's a little bit more low profile. It looks to have a super aggressive attack tip, so I guess it's an attack type. Next up, we have this red and black one, and to be honest, this one's probably my favorite. It's called Skullor, I believe, Skullor. It definitely looks pretty used. Like, looking at this metal ball, there's quite a bit of wear on it. Kind of gross, but super round metal ball tip. I have a feeling that this one is gonna be the best, but I mean, I don't even remember how these battle, so we'll see. And the very final Battle Striker we have is probably like the lightest one by weight, and it is called Cobra. You have this kind of snake design that looks kind of cool, actually. I don't mind this design at all. So let's go ahead and get the Battle Strikers, and we're gonna put them off to the side to instead look at the stadium as well as the launchers, and the most interesting part of the entire series, these things, okay? These things are interesting. And here we have the actual Battle Strikers launchers themselves. How they work is you hold them like this, you get your Battle Striker, you attach it to the underside, and then you just pull the little trigger and boom. And that is it. That is the launch. And you can get some pretty wild power with these things. Now is where I'd be battling these Battle Strikers, but they didn't give me any batteries. And I don't think I have any batteries here. I guess we're going on an adventure. Yay. Well, that was a nightmare. The adventure began as you'd expect. I left my home, got in the car, traveled to Target, passed by some unfortunately timed Mr. Beast advertising. I loaded up the batteries on both launchers and neither of them worked. The eBay listing said that only one worked, but neither did. The seller was super cool about it. They responded to my message within like 2 minutes and just gave me a refund out of nowhere, so that was amazing. But the issue remains. We have all of these tops, but no working launchers. I ended up back on eBay, and this time I bought a new, still in box, Tsunami starter pack. This comes with the top, the launcher, and the controller. Tsunami looks pretty decent visually. However, the 4 magnet spots on the top destroy any uniqueness it may have had. The launcher and controller are basically the same as previous ones, but at least this launcher works. This first lineup of Battle Strikers is not as spectacular as I remember. Series 2, which got rid of the big 4 magnet circles on the top, probably could have been the initial run, as they looked much better going forward. Really though, what should have been the initial launch lineup was Metal XS. The tops had some pretty interesting designs. They were bigger than Metal Fight Bays, and because they were metal, they were heavier as well. They also updated the stadium to have knockout areas like the Beyblade Stadium, because the initial launch one didn't have that for some reason. This is when the series looked and felt like a true competitor to Beyblade's upcoming Metal Fight run. But at this point, it was too late. Sales were low and distribution was lacking. Battle Strikers rose and then fell within 2 years. It was released after the Metal Fight launch in Japan, but before the Metal Fusion launch here in the US. What could have been Beyblade's biggest competitor ended up dying before it could compete in the first place. There was also no TV show and not a lot of social media presence because, you know, it's 2010. It's not surprising to me that Battle Strikers failed, despite having some interesting ideas that separate it from Beyblade. What really makes me sad though, is how forgotten this line tends to be as well. An entire generation of kids remember so many great toys from that era, like Beyblade, Bakugan, Ben 10, all of which had historically successful TV shows as well. Battle Strikers was almost born to lose.